Hey Ryan, how are you?
Good, Jeff. Appreciate you having me today.
Appreciate you joining me on Indispensable Appraisers podcast. You want to give me just, I know we're both in Tampa, which is pretty cool, but you want to give me a quick summary of who is Ryan? What do you do? Where are you at?
Yeah, I live out of Tampa. Got two partners, Scott two out of Orlando and James Toro out of Jacksonville. We've got appraisers scattered throughout the state of Florida. We're a full service commercial appraisal firm, covering a wide range of assets and also do a fairly good amount of portfolio work outside of the state. I think we're between the partners license in a dozen states or so, mostly in the Southeast. And I've been in appraisal for about 25 years and in Florida for about 25 years and enjoy working in the profession and
Oh,
appreciate you having me to talk about it today.
yeah, absolutely. So, first question is in our valuation space, what are we winning at? What are we doing a good job on?
Well, I thought about this just a little bit before we got on the call here. I think as appraisers, we've become much more efficient in meeting the demands of the market these days. In the 25 years I've been in the business, I've watched the expected turnaround times from a lot of our clients go from 28 to 30 days down to about half that time to, 14 days to 15 days being the expectations. And we've met that request as appraisers. We're doing that by using a lot of times technology in different ways and data services and third-party data providers that are out there that weren't available maybe a dozen or more years ago. Um, so we've done a good job in becoming more efficient as appraisers. Um, our staff specifically, we've kind of moved over the last 4 or 5 years from a work from home model, and a lot of our staff was telling us that, hey, I'm spending half hour to 45 minutes coming in each way, going home each day, and I'm losing an hour and a half or 2 hours of production time, and I would use that efficiently if I could work from home. So we kind of adopted that model over a couple year period. Been using Teams and Zoom and other technologies as needed, and really putting more money into our server and our hardware and setting up our staff so they can work at home and be efficiently like they've got a full office set up. So for us, those have been winners. Basically using technology and report writing software. All those things have helped, I think, appraisers cut down the turnaround time as we've moved forward.
Cool. So, given that, what do you think is our biggest challenges? What are we struggling with?
I think we continue to struggle with getting clients to recognize and pay for the quality of services sometimes rather than the commoditized race to the bottom, the maybe the quickest turn time and the lowest fee. Sometimes maybe not enough scope of work and efforts put into putting some of those reports out and getting clients that really appreciate the scope of work you do and putting some effort into, specialization. Our firm has done quite a bit of that over the years where some of our clients come to us specifically because they know we have property types that we do quite a number of and they would rather, somebody that really understands the quick service restaurant or the gas station convenience store, the hotel market, um, property types and can do a thorough and very knowledgeable job rather than just going to the lowest fee. So I think that's one area that we continue to challenge and appraisers in general to separate, yourself from the rest of the pack in terms of quality and of the reports.
Anything else that you think the industry is struggling with or could use a
Well,
little?
yeah, some of the things I've been trying to work on over the past few years is with university relations and getting colleges and the students familiar with the not only the Appraisal Institute but the Appraisal Foundation degree program approval that's available to the universities to you have the 300 hours of education that you have to get for your certified general and you come out of college and look and see I now have 300 hours more to get. That's always been a big hurdle for I think the appraisal profession recruiting students to come into the profession. So there's a program out there through the Appraisal Foundation now where we're working with a lot of schools to get their degree programs approved And a lot of them are getting all the way up to the 285 hours, which is everything except the 15-hour USPAP class that you have to take. And that removes a huge hurdle for some of these students to want to enter the profession, because they know if they graduate from certain universities with that degree, that they are exempt from the education, requirement of getting certified and working towards your designation. So um, those are some of the challenges I think we're working on to help recruit talented students into the profession.
Well, yeah, it goes to my third question is where do we go from here? How do we improve? So my question is on why did you focus on education, or what's your motivation, or how'd that come about that I think you said you're on a national committee?
Yeah, I've been chair of the Appraisal Institute University Relations Committee. It was a new committee that was developed about 4 years ago, um, after some lobbying for a number of years to create a national committee. We had always had some of our members doing local things with their universities, but not a national support system in terms of marketing best practices and showing others that how to work with the universities to get involved and get in front of them, to speak to the students, to let them know the Appraisal Institute is out there, about our scholarships, about our free student affiliate membership, about how to get, a lot of the schools and the professors weren't even aware that the Appraisal Foundation has degree program approval. And once you make them aware that that's something they can get on the list and approved for, a lot of these universities now use that in their marketing efforts to recruit students to come to their school, because they say, hey, if you graduate from University of Central Florida with a bachelor's degree, you get 285 hours of your education approved towards your certified general license, meaning, that's years ago when this program wasn't in place. When I graduated from college, you still had to go through, the 300 hours after you graduated college with a real estate degree. And that was a big turnoff, I think, to recruiting a lot of students into the profession, that wanted the easy button at that point. And brokerage and development, some other things didn't have that kind of additional school requirement. So this is I think, a good way to get qualified students from the schools into the valuation profession.
Do you think that's working well? I know you have what, Pyrea, you have a few other organizations trying to do some kind of avenue, some kind of on-ramp, especially with the younger generation. You mentioned the easy button. They might want to call it a life hack. Do you think there's still a huge gap between attracting younger appraisers to be aware of the industry? I think you said earlier that valuation is the foundation of all things real estate, right? It's an excellent education if you want to be developer, investor kind of person. How do you see the education at the university level? Do you see that as a critical start point to at least get the ball rolling?
Well, we do have, I think it's clear, a number of people in the profession that didn't major in real estate or went to college for some other, degree and have converted, and we have several of them in our firm that are very effective and good appraisers, even though they weren't real estate students. But I think for a number of years, we weren't actively as a profession and as an organization out there interacting with the universities, letting them know who we are and about the profession. And like I said, this degree program approval through the foundation has changed tremendously in the last 3 or 4 years. There were about a dozen universities approved through it a handful of years ago. Now there's more than 30 universities in the bachelor's approved program, and another dozen plus in the master's program. So, and we're on an active effort out there as we speak, continuing to take more universities through the program. So as we do that, it's really started to grassroots catch on, because once some of the universities in a state know that the other universities have taken the step to get on the degree program approval list, now they're under the pressure to do it also, or their students are not going to get the same benefits, from their degree if they haven't got on the approved list as well. So it's starting to gain momentum just because of that. And you're finding other schools like, oh gosh, we really need to do this, because, schools A, B, and C have already done it, and they're, our closest competitors as far as universities or whatever. So it's, I think it's in the next 5 years, we'll see there's been a huge barrier removed from the students entering the profession.
Yeah, I think your efforts are definitely spot on. I mean, that's how I got in the profession. I went to Florida State. They had a real estate BS in real estate, and one of the classes was appraising. So
Mhm.
when I did graduate, I'm like, huh, right? It was an awareness thing that this thing exists is, step number one.
Yeah, we used to work with Florida State and University of Florida here in Florida, getting on the approved list through the state of Florida. We've kind of found out now that that's the old way of doing it because you can go through all the effort with the state of Florida, and then if you graduate from Florida State and you want to move back to Alabama or Georgia or Indiana, where you might have grown up, that didn't do you any good leaving the state of Florida. This appraisal foundation degree program approval, the state of Florida will accept this letter from the foundation, no matter whether you graduated from an in-state school or an out-of-state school with this same approval. Same way now you can take your Florida State license up to the state of Indiana and give them your degree and your transcript and your approval from the degree from the appraisal foundation, and they will accept your transcript in those states. So it's really became this is a way to transport these degrees across state lines and have the backing of the appraisal foundation directly reviewing your program.
Cool.
Um, Similar to the appraisal, the PAL Act. I've been working on that a little bit with the Appraisal Institute, and that's I think hopefully going to get some more traction this year. And that's the will serve as a national clearinghouse if you have met all the requirements to get license and certification to people like myself that hold licenses in multiple states to have different expiration periods and continuing education requirements and application fees and it'd be a huge benefit if we can get this PAL Act passed where the states will operate with reciprocity and continuing education. It'll make interstate commerce a lot easier for those who do work in multiple states.
Cool. Appreciate that. And we talked earlier about remote work. How's that impacted your specific firm, your staff? How's it impacted anything about your operations?
Well, there's times that in-person, interactions are better than Zoom and or Teams or whatever. But we really found that our staff was asking for it for one, and we were worried at beginning, would everybody be productive working from home? But the kind of profession we're in and having to be self-motivated and turn out, product and revenue, I think really keeps our, has helped our people stay productive and turn those into productive work hours. We have a great support staff also. There's some concern, hey, is the support staff, will you get the same service from them? And they're on the money, reply to emails very quickly and there to upload when you need them. So we found it works very good for us and understand it may not be the perfect fit for every business or every company, but it's worked well for us.
And is there any other topics we didn't talk about you would like to chat about?
Um, just diversity a little bit. Been because of what I've been doing with the University Relations Committee, it really opened up some doors to understand how we can uh, better recruit a diverse uh, set of professionals, being female, minority, and just have a diverse mix. So we've opened up some opportunities with some of the historical Black colleges, some of the Hispanic serving institutions, a couple of the female universities. Work with an entity called BASE, the Black Alliance for Colleges and Employers, and working with them to help find internships and full-time employment for students coming out of those programs. We're working with a couple schools right now and helping develop criteria to start a bachelor's program in real estate. We were not able to find several years ago when we started doing some research any of the minority universities that had a real estate degree program. That's one reason we've not had a diverse set of, you know, professionals is because it's hadn't been offered some of the schools. So we're working with a couple of the historical Black colleges and Hispanic institutions right now to develop degree programs for their schools to hopefully, produce a a more diverse set of professionals moving forward. And that's something I've enjoyed working with.
Cool. Well, Ryan, I definitely appreciate your time today.
Well, I appreciate you having me. You're doing
Thanks.
good work out there, Jeff. So.
Thank you.